All right, so I just got finished watching a movie called Intruders, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. So if you want to go check it out and you have Amazon Prime, you know where to find it. Now, this movie stars Rory Culkin and also Martin Starr. Martin Starr plays like the badass in this movie. It kind of reminds me of when Anthony Michael Hall started becoming like the tough guy in his movies. He was obviously the geeky, typecasted kid in Breakfast Club and whatnot. And then around Edward Scissorhands' time, he became the buff guy, and then he wanted to get away from that image that he had created. And kind of reminded me of that a little bit here. Michael Hall went on to do a bunch of stuff, and he got much, much bigger. I mean, he was such a little kid. But if you even watch like him in the Dead Zone, he's a much bigger guy. I honestly think he was taking steroids for a little bit to try to bulk up, because I'm sure, no one wants to be remembered as the little weak, wimp kid. That wouldn't be fun. I mean, imagine growing up and being that, or Urkel or Screech, Dustin Diamond, or oh God, no. So I completely understand. It's just, it was funny to see Martin Starr here playing like a tough guy. It was like, oh, isn't that the kid from Knocked Up with they're making all the beard jokes about? And he does have a beard in this. But yeah, him being a tough guy, I don't know if I can take that seriously. But honestly, he did a pretty good job. I was looking at him for a minute. I'm like, how do I know this guy? And I'm like, wait, isn't that Martin Starr? And I was like, wow, damn, this is one hell of a different role for him. So this is a home invasion movie. And I know there's some people out there that are huge fans of the home invasion subgenre. So if you're a big home invasion fan, I think that this is a unique spin on the home invasion genre. So if you want to see something different, for sure, check this out. Now, as far as my opinions on it, I liked it. I didn't love it. I have my issues here and there with it, but overall, I did like it. I liked that it was something different. I like that they tried something new, and that's what I always take away from a lot of films is, did they at least try to change things up? Yes, and that I respect, and that I will watch. And was it a watchable movie? Was it an enjoyable movie? Yes. Was it the fucking best movie I saw this year or anything like it? No, but I did dig it, and I really am not seeing enough people talk about this. The poster is really cool, but I'm not sure how it applies to the film. I mean, I guess you could see it in a certain way, but I'm going to talk about spoilers here in a minute. But yeah, the lead actress here, who I feel like I recognize her from something, but I didn't look into what she had done before. She's good. She suffers from agoraphobia or agoraphobia, however you want to say it. Potato. I'm an anxiety, panic attack aficionado. I know that stuff very, very well, and my mind has definitely tried to make me agoraphobic for many years, and I just never let it. But I totally understand, giving into it. It's so much harder than people think that it is. It seems like it would be so super simple to beat, but let me tell you what, man, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about unless you've suffered from anxiety and crippling anxiety. You just don't understand how hard it is. I'm not just speaking for myself. It is horrible. So, anyway, so yeah, her brother is dying of pancreatic cancer. She's agoraphobic, and he's like, that's it for her. She has nobody else, and if he dies, she's in this house alone, and she doesn't leave the house. And then some intruders break in, and then the twists and turns start from there. But as I said, I dug the chances. I dug them doing something different, and I would recommend it to people who are into home invasion movies, definitely. So, Amazon Prime, it's a good one. Production value is pretty good. The acting is good. It's a good watch. It's not something I'm going to buy. It's not something I'm probably ever going to watch again, but I think it's worth a one-time watch. Now, getting into spoilers. So, spoilers from here on. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm kind of have some notes here, but I don't want to get too into it. But you know, there's little hints of what's coming with her saying she's never going to forgive her father, and then when they break into that room, it's the only room in the house that's untouched, and it looks exactly like the one in the basement. And so she takes these guys hostage. After, you know, it seems like she's going to be the victim, they turn into the victims here, and she so conveniently happens to have this thing going on. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Don't Breathe. I can't say that. And or I was also going to obviously mention like The Collector, you know, the home invasion flip-flop, where somebody breaks into a house and you think they're going to be the villain and they end up being the victim. That I can't mention that because I feel like that's a spoiler. You don't want to know what's going to happen. It would take away from the film so much for you to know that she's it. But because I had heard that there was some big twists, I just surmised for myself that this girl was not all cracked up to be. And I was kind of looking for it. So when I saw like her dad had done stuff to her, I was like, oh, she's going to get the upper hand on these guys. Things is not going to go well for these guys. And of course they didn't. So her brother and her were killing pedophiles. Now, this I can kind of get on board with. Like I'd always talked about in my personal life and sometimes in reviews, where I always talk about how, like, I don't understand, like, why do these fucking nutcases have to go shoot up a kindergarten? Like, if you are compelled to kill, if you had you cannot keep it back, and you're not going to turn yourself in, and you know you're going to kill no matter what, can't you, like, find some horrible human beings to do this to? And this isn't just them killing them. This is a rehabilitation process. They think what they're doing is going to, it's like a saw trap or something. They get them in there, and they make them repent and try to figure out whether or not they are ready to re-enter society. If they're actually sorry, and maybe they've learned something and they won't do it again. It's like extreme rehabilitation, as I said, very Jigsaw-like. Obviously, these aren't traps, but she has this basement set up, and she makes it about herself. Of course, this is all about her and her dealing with what her dad did to her and everything. She's trying to make it seem like she's the good guy when she's just taking people's lives and torturing them down in this freaking hole in the ground. I love the whole like stairs that like retracted back. The thing that the room down there didn't seem to be all that secured very well. The fact that Martin Starr's character could break through the door like that, and then there's a little passageway just behind this freezer, and it goes right up to this door, and then there's people. There's a person who's at the door, could totally hear them. It's not even soundproofed. If once you get like into that area, and I don't know, like it doesn't seem like the best setup. The fact that they've had multiple pedophiles down there and they've gotten away with it, and then her brother ends up getting cancer. Maybe their karma does exist in this universe. Yeah, I mean, he killed his dad to protect his sister, and then they have the option to shoot themselves or drug their sandwiches and then hang themselves. And I'm sure I'm sure it did not stick to the rules of what they had set up, maybe in their own morality. You know, like, oh, if we do this, then we'll be good people. I'm sure it went way off the rails many times, and she just kind of justified it through her abuse. Which you can tell, I mean, this woman is very, very abused. And at the end, and yeah, I mean, we know that he's fucking her because she says, like, he used to hold me after him. And the implications are very obvious. And, you know, Rory and I get this, like, I don't understand why he turned down the money. Like, I would have took that shit and ran myself. The bag, if you look, the bag legitimately has a fucking dollar symbol written on it, like a kid's toy or something, or some like Monopoly guy or something. Something you see in a cartoon or a child's movie. Pretty fucking ridiculous. Like a bank robber, and he's got like the white satchel with the fucking dollar sign on it. Ridiculous. But yeah, she just draws a big dollar sign on it. And she's like, here, if this is what you need. And it's all dirty. And I might have missed it, so please explain it to me where the money came from. Did I miss that? Because she wouldn't sign the papers for her brother, for her to be taken care of. I'm not sure why there either. So I thought I was paying pretty good attention, but yeah, why wouldn't she sign the papers, and where'd the money come from? So I don't know. So explain that to me. Rebecca, I know you're watching this review, and I know you watched it, so I must have missed it. And she's been inside that house for over 10 straight years. Jesus Christ, it's going to drive anyone insane, no matter how freaking sane they are. And then, yeah, I mean, she ends up letting Rory live because Rory, he went around to his friends, and he was just like, this woman tried to give me a bag of money. Like, and of course, around the wrong ears, they're going to be like, well, let's go rob this bitch. And they think she's going to be at this funeral. No one's supposed to get hurt. They just want the money. The brother who comes in on it wants nothing to do. As soon as she's there, he's like, we need to leave. Like, was never an intention to hurt anyone. But Martin Starr's character is a nutcase and doesn't care and actually gets off on hurting people to the point where he's like, that was fun when he has to put Rory's leg back and he smashes the bird's head in and whatever. So he's definitely getting off on it. But yeah, so she lets him live at the end after everything, and then she goes outside. I guess she's beaten her agoraphobia, whatever. This guy yelling at her, making her realize her shit. Maybe she finally dealt with her shit for once. And then she went outside and she burned it all with all the money inside. She didn't sign the papers. I'm not sure what she's gonna think. There's bodies down in the basement in a freezer. So not only are they contained in a freezer, which wouldn't burn up, so they'll definitely find those body parts. But even if they would, they'd find bones and everything. So she's definitely going to be put in prison for murder. I guess she's just maybe getting outside before she goes to jail, right? Because she's it's a perfect place to be if you're agoraphobic, right? Is in prison. You ain't ever going outside. But yeah, I mean, there's no way she didn't get caught here. I mean, I guess she could have went on the run, but outside of that, she's fucked. I mean, there's no way around that. I mean, I guess she could say it was her brother and she knew nothing about it, but no way. But yeah, so she gets over it right in the moment before she's hauled off to prison for the rest of her life. So it's kind of ironic in a way. She's a prisoner of this house, and then when she finally frees herself, she's going to be an actual prisoner. So yeah, anyways, all right, I think I'm done talking about this movie. So yeah, anybody who wants to explain to me, I must have missed it, I apologize, but that girl wants her to sign the papers. She still hasn't, so that she can get money, but she already has money, but she burns all that money up. Where'd the money come from? Why won't she sign the papers? Does she feel like she doesn't deserve it? Is it like, I don't know. Anyways, all right, I've got another movie to go watch right now. Adios.